Welcome everybody to 52 Living Ideas. Today's we are continuing our series on Bucky filler of on Bucky. So I'm sorry, I have to tell you really bad news. CJ is in a very bad shape. He has a 4th stage cancer, and he has only a few weeks left. And that is the reason that we launched this series. This is a series on collaborating for comprehensivity. That is the vision that has shaped everything that CJ has done. And that is exactly what we are going to do with this. Buckminster Fuller is one of the greatest examples of comprehensivity. He's the core thinker that has been the influence for CJ. And so we decided, it was Joe, Maritza, and I, and then Rupali joined us. So 4 of us are leading this series. When CJ knew that he was sick, the first thing, and pretty much the only thing on his mind, was to continue the work that he had started on comprehensivity. This is his vision, that if a human being is comprehensivist, that means that he is, the way in which Bucky describes it, is macro comprehensive and micro incisive. One who can talk to anybody, talk to any field, take in any field as his own, and then be able to apply it powerfully to anything that they are focused on. That is a good thing. Bucky believed that, and CJ believes that. And we are going to learn about that. We have been doing that for the past. CJ has been doing meetups with the Greater Philadelphia Thinking Society for over 10 years. Before that, he's been involved in the Synergetic Collective. He's been involved with Bucky work for decades, at least I think 3 decades or so. So he has a long base on that. And then he's done a number of meetups on Bucky theme at 52 Living Ideas. Bucky is a profound thinker. His ideas are unified, and they are applicable to everything, every human endeavor. We have studied him at one level. We want to take it to a new level, but we want to do that while keeping it accessible to anybody who wants it. That is the challenge. I'm happy to report that number of people who are really deep into Bucky, even before we have announced what has happened with CJ, many of them have come forward, very excited about pursuing that. I've already set up the first 4 meetups of January. We are going to use the 4 on-ramps that CJ has identified. We're going to do something, we're going to focus on the deepest intuitions that Bucky has, and no better place to go than Bucky himself for that. So we're going to be going through critical path. That's going to be the yellow week. I had to use the tetrahedron. Bucky meetup will not be complete without that. So that's going to be the yellow. That's going to be the first week. Okay. The second week, we are going to shift to blue, deep ideas of Bucky. So this time we are going to have Peter Meiser presenting on some idea of Bucky. He's been at it for a long time, and he's been applying those ideas to the field of energy. So we'll see what we do. So that's going to be the second. So first Sunday is first. So we're going to skip that. After that, there are going to be four Sundays. So on the 8th, we're going to launch Critical Path book discussion. I encourage you to read Critical Path and join us. Second, after that is going to be Peter. The third after that is going to be a discussion like this. So we will take one idea, and that is this, communication, building a camaraderie, building a community is critical to learning, to comprehensivity. Collaboration and comprehensivity actually go together. So we are going to keep it open. We're going to take an idea like comprehensivity here, and we're going to have a discussion. And finally, we're going to have a green one, which is actually demonstration of what it looks like. So there I have Kirby, and he's going to be presenting. He has amazing deck of slides. So we're going to have that. And I encourage anybody who knows ideas of Bucky to reach out to me at 52livingideas@gmail.com. And we will schedule. I will also be reaching out to a number of Bucky scholars to add to this. So that is the project that we are doing, and that is why we are doing it. By the way, this is actually exactly in line with what 52 Living Ideas is and what we have been doing all along. We are pursuing a comprehensivity path. And Bucky, and we've done this for Louis Sullivan. We did the design way with Harold. We've been looking at different works of different times, like Bhagavad Gita, like Gospel of John, like Tao Te Ching. We're trying to learn comprehensivity from there. And we will continue. So Bucky is only the latest of this series. Now I'm going to have Joe. Would you like to add anything?
Just briefly, we're all here because of CJ. His love for comprehensivism, his love for teaching, his love for learning. And I just want to share a really quick story that I think that demonstrates how passionate he is about this work and what this platform means to him. As Shrikant had noted, about 4 weeks ago, he found out he had a number of tumors. The cancer has progressed. It is a very aggressive form. And he's in the process now of evaluating his options, whether to receive treatment or not. One of the main factors on whether he decides to receive treatment is whether or not he can finish the 27th essay in his series. He's making a decision. He says, if it impairs my thinking, then I don't want the treatment. I want to finish the essay. That's how much this series means to him. And that's how much teaching and learning and sharing means to us. And that's what makes 52 Living Ideas, 52 Living Ideas. So thank you, Shrikant, for giving CJ the platform. And, thank you for CJ.
Thanks. Thanks, Joe. Next up is Maritza.
So CJ often says to us, he reminds us that the center of Bucky's definition of universe is communicated experience. So I will just look forward and invite you all to look forward and walk forward with me, and we shall, all of us together, ensure that CJ stays alive, because he's going to be alive in all of us. And this series will be that candle that we're all holding as we walk forward. And our meaningful path is going to become enmeshed with these concepts. And hopefully we will continue for years and years to ignite many different candles for collaborating for comprehensivity, because every time we use that phrase, we're inviting someone or some people to keep CJ's vision alive. And the very foundation of so many of his concepts and the foundation of collaborating for comprehensivity sits with Buckminster Fuller's ideas. And so this is an honor for me to be a part of this. And I look forward to working with all of you. I think the four outlined paths that CJ gave us, as always, he gives us a fantastic foundation to just take and move forward with. So through this sadness and heavy heart, I choose to look forward, and I'm excited to embark on this path. And so I just gently remind everyone that we will be walking forward in some way with him.
Thank you, Marissa. All right, so now we begin. You're welcome to talk about comprehensivity that you see in this group, in CJ and Bucky, all of it put together. So we're going to go with Robert, Rupali, and Jordan next. Robert, go ahead.
I learned about CJ's situation earlier, and I want to express my thoughts a little bit. CJ is an ideal designer in the sense that he can interpret Bucky's comprehension in a way that makes it understandable to others, but he also, I think, has expanded on it much beyond what Bucky's words themselves have said. So CJ will be long remembered because of that, if nothing else. And of course, as we go forward with this, we'll always be able to refer back to him, and that's as good a memory as you can probably have. Regarding Bucky and comprehensiveness, I first listened to Bucky in the early 60s when I was in college, and I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't, because once he started, you couldn't leave. And I remember the first time he started talking about sailing, and I thought, oh, here we go. What's this all about? And we climbed on a sailboat, and we talked about everything in the world, and went around the world while we were talking, while he was talking, while we were listening, and came back to the same spot we started in. And how he did that, I don't know, but we didn't stay on the water for the whole trip. We went through the whole universe on the circumferential journey, and it took a while, but it was worth every minute of it. But the thing that impressed on me was synergetics. And at the time, I didn't really get the connection between synergy and systems. That came later on, in fact, much later on. But I really got attuned to synergy because that seemed to make a lot of sense, especially when you've just heard the guy tell you about everything in the universe in 2 or 3 hours. And that always stuck with me. So it actually changed my worldview almost instantly, in that I began to look at the world as a holism rather than parts and pieces, and how I could use my profession as architecture to implement that. And as it turned out, our school was very sympathetic to that approach. And I don't want to sound like this is all about me, but my senior or 5th year thesis for the architecture school was an implementation of one of Bucky's tensegrity ideas. And I passed, which was pretty good news. But it had that impact that stuck with me. And over the years since, I've reinterpreted, revisited, modified, added on, and then ran into CJ. And tough. I'll leave it at that. I'll be back.